How did you find out your SO was cheating on you? Got a Facebook message from some lady telling me that my fiance registered signee was a homewrecker. Apparently my ex was sleeping with this woman's husband. And she was divorcing her husband because of it. Fortunately this happened the weekend before our wedding. So I dodged a bullet. Someone sent me a video footage of my ex with someone I did not need to worry about. Shtia leaves you devastated. As soon as the words "you don't need to worry about them" come out of their mouth, my brain's alarm bells go ringing. Her boyfriend got tired of being the other guy and he, rudely, told me everything I needed to know. Okay, look, I know you've been cheating on me. I haven't been It's okay. It's okay. I've been cheating on you too. The FCK asked me to fix something on her iPad. Emails with airfare confirmations to see her ex-boyfriend on the other side of the country popped up. iMessage linked to her computer. I was on her computer buying stuff off Amazon and she was sitting on the couch, feet from me, texting her ex. He was trying to get her to send him nudes and they were reminiscing about previous encounters. He was bragging about how he made her leg shake all the while I was watching the conversation in real time, right next to her. My adrenaline kicked in and I simply closed the computer and left the house without saying a word. This was over a year ago and I'm still fighting her for custody of our children. My wife tried calling and didn't hang up once it went to voicemail. She accidentally left a 2:45 VM. The VM consisted of her and her BF talking shitty about me and how much happier she was with him. At the time I was home with our kids and I thought she was 800 miles away to be with her dying father. 2 years later we are divorced and her father is still alive. She needed a new phone so I put it in my name since I was working. 2 hours after leaving the store and having lunch with me joking about how excited she was to get married, I found a photo reel full of pictures she had been exchanging with her ex whilst transferring her stuff to her new phone. I put 2 and 2 together and opened her text inbox and surprise. He had been texting him for months and F-king him for a few weeks. Nice bullet dodge. Neo. Saw her being all flirty and mushy with a new guy at work. Whenever I would confront her about it, she would usually give me the "that's just how I am." Eventually got a sneak peek into her texts and saw her sending him SXTS. This was about 4 months ago but still hurts as hell. FCK outta here with that "that's just how I am" bullshitty line. A skank is how you are. Sorry brother. My super genius ex-wife bitched about the cost of our joint cell phone bill. She told me I'm using it too much. I never used it except to call her phone, which was free. So I looked over the bill and found the number to the dude she was cheating with. She sent me a picture of herself in the bath. Then sent me a message afterwards saying "oops, wrong person." She was special kind of stupid tbh. My first clue was when I walked into the house and saw her drug dealer jacking off in our kitchen while she watched. Topless. Just kept being a good boyfriend until she felt guilty and told me. I never suspected it. At least she had some conscience because she could have had her cake and ate it too. Could have strung me along for years and I would have been none the wiser. I loved her. I thought she was the woman I could spend the rest of my life with. Took me 4 years of being single before I was able to trust anyone after that. I was so oblivious the last time that after it happened, I hugely overcompensated, questioning every odd plan made and etc. I am kind of glad in a way that I waited 4 years. Because it taught me that being okay with being alone or single is incredibly valuable. And I've noticed more and more people since then that can't be alone. I used to be a guy that would let girls walk all over me just to keep peace, happy wife, happy lifestyle. But now, while I still compromise and give freely, I don't take bullshit from anyone because I'm not afraid to be by myself. Found them in bed together. Fairly typical, if such a thing exists. Thing that angers me the most is that I seriously had absolutely not the faintest idea. Not even a smidgen of suspicion. And what angers me even more is how it changed me. The insecurity. The paranoia. I counted the pictures. This was in 2000. Before everyone had a camera on their phone and you had to get your holiday snaps developed at the Walgreens photo lab. She brought home the pictures of her vacation to see her old high school friend in Vegas. But there was something missing. See? Back in the day the rolls of film were made up of exposures of 12, 24, 36 pics, etc. Depending on the film you bought. I went through the photos and it didn't add up. Literally. The 24 exposure roll only had 18 pics. Eventually I found the remaining photos. Her and the new boyfriend looking happy. I saw the guy she told me not to worry about change his relationship status. Asked her about it and she became a nervous wreck and told me. Last week was quite f***ing something. Broke up in April of 2017. Her and new boyfriend celebrated their 1 year in October of 2017. Ultimately didn't find out until after the divorce. But a very close friend of hers confided to me. I still haven't mentioned anything to anyone. Even her. Just decided to finally move on. She pulled out her phone to take a video at my son's birthday celebration and there was a text on the phone saying I love you too. FCK Jess. Edit. For those asking. I knew the dude and was aware of it being his contact. I'm not telling the entire story here. But I knew. I took her phone from her and asked my wife who she was texting at 3 AM. Was it Jake from State Farm? She tried to silence her phone when I called. But I guess she accepted it instead. I heard her banging a dude loudly over the phone. The guy she cheated on with was a real bro and when he found out she did in fact have a boyfriend, messaged me saying that she cheated on me and he was sorry and she had told him she didn't have a boyfriend. When I confronted her about it, she denied it for about 30 seconds before starting to cry and admitting to everything. She had an iPhone and MacBook Air. They were synchronized and she had a problem with her MacBook. I swear to God I opened the iMessage app on her MacBook by accident. Wanted to click the icon next to it. But it immediately opened to a very sexually suggestive conversation with some guy. I only read 3 of the lines. I literally couldn't read more. I was about to marry her in 3 months. Then shut the laptop. Walked up to her and bluffed I read everything. She broke down and confessed. I came home one day and my husband's work phone was going crazy. He had taken my son snowboarding and they weren't going to be home for a while. I was trying to turn it off and found dozens of messages between him and another woman. He met her while he was working in China. He'd even offered to move her to the US and have her take my place. I confronted him and he swore he'd end it. Well, he ended it with her and moved on with a lady in Israel where he was working. Found out about that one when I found photos of them on a trip to Egypt that he said he took alone. And I found out about the third girlfriend when I found naked pictures of her on his tablet and phone. Finally left after that. I knew he'd never change and I don't think he ever truly loved me. She f***ing told me. I would rather find out this way. My wife cheated on me and flat out told me there was someone else. I always ask of anyone I am seeing to be honest no matter how much it hurts. I'm glad she told me. I would have hated to find out another way. We split up because that is something I will never forgive. Her and I have a beautiful daughter that is now 11 and our daughter is our priority. We have both moved on but her being honest made it easier to move on. My brother told me she asked to see his dick so he actually f***ing showed her. Easiest breakup I ever experienced. I drove 2 hours to surprise him at college on a long weekend and straight up found him in bed with the girl he specifically told me not to worry about. FCKU Ashley and your stupidly nice Latina ass. Edit. Thanks for the lovely inboxes. Common no. I'm not still with him. That relationship ended over a year ago. No. I don't have pictures of Ashley's ass. Small changes in behavior, dress, and grooming habits. For working the closing shift at a fast food restaurant. Followed her to a motel after she got out of work and confronted them. Kicked her out shortly after. I tried to make it work and eventually filed for divorce after finding out how miserable she was without him on a solo trip out of state. I paid for to help her find herself again. Bad times. Basically became a solo parent while she found herself. She found herself alright. Found herself pregnant before the divorce was even final. She's about to find out that I know she reads my Reddit comments. And B, I know she cheated. She went out for the night with some friends. Unusual but alright. She never made it home that night. Tells me she passed out at 10. Listened to some atrocious voicemails she left me at 2:45 am. Haven't said anything about it. But she'll read this and she'll know that I know. I walked into the living room to find her passed out drunk on the couch with her phone in her hand. On the screen was the other guy. Shirtless and in bed. Skype. I told her to leave. She left 2 days later. Told me she was going to her mom's. She didn't go to her mom's. Funny part is, we had been together for 8 years. She never worked a day and I didn't mind. I had enough for both of us. My credit sucks so all of our assets were in her name. I stopped paying for her car, her insurance and her F-King house. Let's see that F-King wiener you left me for do that by selling ink cartridges. Bitch. My co-worker told me he saw her being carried to her car at 4 am by another co-worker of mine. She left this part of the story out when she stumbled home drunk that night. Confronted her. She confessed they made out. Fast forward to present day and I'm still trying to recover from what she did to me. After this kiss she kept going with him and eventually F-ked him twice. She told me both times. I literally had to walk into my apartment one day to find her in bed with him. I quit my job, we all worked together, and we broke up finally. That was 3 months ago. I'm still F-ked up. She was my best friend and all of a sudden set out to destroy me. I used to say I've never been cheated on. Now I say I've never been cheated on. To my knowledge. She changed her MySpace profile pic to include her and another guy. Was it Tom? That guy got around. He was friends with every girl I knew. They spent 50 minutes getting beer from the garage and she didn't want to sit next to me after it, only close to that guy. I F-King still hate that party. My ex-wife always had a way of clamming up and becoming miserable if she wanted to tell me something. But wouldn't for days. This time was different. Nearly a week during my Christmas vacation she was the worst. The final days of vacation it came out that she had sex with her ex. Tyler. She ran out shortly after. I'll spare the major details but we're now divorced. Hard to trust anymore. But I only have myself to deal with these days. First time. Her friend didn't outright tell me, but hinted very strongly. At the time my, now ex-wife and I lived in a bad area so we had set up security cameras. She didn't think I had any reason to check them. Or maybe just forgot they were there. Either way caught on camera. I gave her 2 months to come clean. The first I didn't say anything. And the second I did what I could to try to guilt her into telling me. To this day. Even with the evidence and the kid. Conceived while we were together. She still won't admit it. Second time, different girl. We were already having issues so she went to stay with her friend. Gave her the benefit of the doubt. But when she came back I saw texts from the other guy. 4 and 8 years later they are both still trying to fix things. Never gonna happen. Party at my house. End of night. Only a few friends left. Decide to crash out. Get up to go to the bathroom. Bathroom door is locked and lights are off. Strange. Knock on door. No answer. Wait for a few minutes and GF eventually pokes her head out and doesn't want to open door. Push door open and best friend is sitting there still trying to do up belt. Ouch. Drama ensues. She walked up the stairs all quiet one night. And I just felt something off. I came out in the hallway to catch her and said, "Were you cheating on me?" She replied, How did you know? I didn't. It was just a feeling. His other girlfriend at the time confronted me. Talked shitty and even slapped the shitty out of me when we passed by each other at a mall. I didn't know about her existence. Turns out they were together for 5 years and we were together for about a year already. Not one bit did I ever suspect. He kinda had to tell me because he got her pregnant. Told me that they were friends. Then proceed to send me a picture of him and her sleeping together. Her best friend called me and told me. So I did the only logical thing and FK'd her too. It would be really bad to find out that the best friend was only lying to get laid. My laptop battery was dead. She was at work so I tried to use her laptop to call my mom. The last login was to a new account. The password was saved to her laptop. She had been arranging to meet and have sex with men online using a new Skype account called SI, her name. I told her I found it. She said she wants to be allowed to see other men on the side. I said no. That was 10 end of 13 years of marriage. I found out I had cancer. Lymphoma to be precise. And it took me 2 weeks to tell her. I couldn't bring myself to tell her this devastating news. I hated the fact that I knew it was going to make her cry. I called her after around 10 days of knowing. Explaining why I've been quiet over that time. And that we needed to talk. We met up. She said, I think I know what you're going to say. I had no clue how she knew I had those test results. I hadn't even told my family. I say, look. I need to tell you. I know you know. So I'd rather tell you. I've been sleeping with Ben, my first close friend after moving city, for a few weeks now. I know you guys are really good friends. But we were drunk and we had a lot of fun and I didn't want that to stop. Well, that Fkin blew my bad news out of the water. Still got them trust issues. P.S. I never told her my bad news. I just got up and left. Edit. He said he didn't have a Facebook account. But one day I saw that he had the app on his phone. So I searched him up. And a little stalking later found out. 1. His name wasn't Sam. That was the dog's name too. He had a wife. And the family vacation he had gone on a few months back was actually his F-king wedding. 3. I was definitely the side chick. The confrontation was unpleasant. We'd been together for almost 2 years. And looking back from where I am now, I realize he'd always been a manipulative, abusive dick. But I didn't want to see it for what it was. I eventually left him. But some days I'm not sure I'm over him. That relationship broke me. Partner broke up with me a few weeks ago whilst I was on a class break. During that time, he told me that he was seeing someone else who wasn't a SLT. Best thing is, he was the one who was sleeping around. Not me. Logic is real. I set up an internet service. I worked for the internet company. So got a discount for him. I was getting emails telling me that my service provided email address was full, so I logged in one day to empty it, assuming it was all just junk mail because he had a Hotmail service he used to use. Emails from a paid dating service with the profile they'd created for him. Emails from the online dating service he'd been using for a year. Emails to his friends living in his home country, the UK, talking about having me on the hook to pay his bills and the actually hot Aussie girls you hear about to see on the side. He actually tried talking his way out of it with a straight face. She asked me to check her email for a phone number she needed. I ran across emails to and from her soulmate. Sent and received while on vacation with our kids on Florida. I then understood all the poolside work she had to do while I played with our children in the pool not 10 feet away. I divorced her and remarried the mythical second wife. Best choice ever. She remarried the follow-up to her soulmate, who by every sign is a closeted gay man. Not that there's anything wrong with that. She continues to flat out lie, personally and professionally, to achieve her goals. Our youngest child is almost 18 and the gravy train called child support nears an end. The closeted gay man is in for the life of debt I escape because she loves to spend. She was fking another guy on a campsite. She told the dude I still love you more than anything while I was in earshot. It was my birthday and my dog had died 3 days earlier. Her phone kept buzzing at 3 AM so I looked and her guy friend was accusing her of sleeping with me. Which I thought was weird since I was dating her. And back a little further to where she made plans to FCK him while I was at home mourning my dog. Then saw the message where she was making fun of me for crying about my dog. I woke her up by throwing her phone at her back. I shouldn't have done that. Then I had to drive her 30 minutes home to drop her off because she didn't have a car. I guess she was telling him that we were pretty much done. But hey. They have 2 ugly kids. Split up. And she looks terrible now. So there's that.